All right, so 2025 is officially over. 2026 is a few days in, and so naturally very late about this, but I am doing my official best movies of 2025 and my worst movies of 2025. This video is going to be the best movies of 2025, the movies that I saw and that I'm like, this is really good. This is fantastic. I love everything about them. These are the best of the best that came out this year. Also, if you want to see more of my lists of like best of the year and such, I'm going to put a link in the comment section below for my Letterboxd account because, no, I don't really review movies that much. I mainly just make lists, but it'd be really cool if you guys check that out. So let's get into my picks for some of the best movies of last year. First up, Predator Badlands. This movie was a lot of fun. I thought the two leads are really good. I thought the action was great. I had a lot of fun with it. Zootopia 2. This was a movie that I was very nervous about because the Disney sequels as of late have not been particularly great, but this movie actually was. It expanded the world. The jokes were better. I thought it stayed with the core message of the original movie. I thought the chemistry between the two leads was still really good. I had a good time watching it. Materialists. This was a movie that had great performances from Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans especially. I thought the two of them were fantastic in this movie. I thought it had very interesting things to say about relationships in general. And while it may not be so ha-ha funny, I do think it is very resonant. K-pop Demon Hunters. This movie was a total surprise. This movie had great animation, great characters, phenomenal music. I think this movie just caught me off guard completely. The Life of Chuck. This movie starred Tom Hiddleston, and it also is based off a Stephen King short story about someone's life. And it does kind of make you think about your life and how you want to live it and such. And I do think the movie is very interesting in how it presents that. Companion. This movie was just a lot of fun. Now, while I'm still mad at Warner Brothers for how they actually marketed the movie, giving away all the twists, basically, I still had a lot of fun with this movie, particularly Sophie Thatcher's performance. Jack Quaid is also really good. Harvey Guillen is also pretty good in the movie. This movie was just a lot of fun from beginning to end. Sentimental Value. This is a very interesting movie. It has phenomenal performances from Stellan Skarsgård, Renata Reynolds, the lead actress. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, unfortunately, but she was really good in it. But I do think that there are interesting conversations about family in this movie that, I feel like they do need to be had, and I do think that they handled the situations very well. The Long Walk, the other Stephen King adaptation that's surprisingly on this list. I had a lot of fun. Well, fun is not the right word. This movie is pretty traumatizing. This movie is pretty dramatic. This movie is one of those movies that I really enjoyed, but will probably never watch again. It has great performances from Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson specifically. It does play like a war movie a lot, and I do feel like it works on that level. And while I don't really like how they handle Mark Hamill's villain, I do think that this movie is very interesting and definitely a movie that I thought sounded dumb on paper, but actually turned out decent. Begonia, this movie was Yorgos Lanthimos' next collaboration with Emma Stone. I thought her performance was great. I thought Jesse Plemons was great. I thought the score by Jerson Fendrix was really good. And also, I do think that the movie itself takes a lot of twists and turns I just did not see coming. And a lot of people, I personally felt the movie was a little pessimistic, but I guess that's kind of the point of the movie. But it was definitely very interesting, and I have thought about it a lot since I saw it. The Secret Agent. I just saw this movie a few days ago, and at first I was thinking, I don't know if I really like this movie. But the more I thought of it and kind of thought of like what happened in the movie, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get it a lot more now. I do like the style that it has as opposed to some other movies that are kind of like this. I do think that's very interesting. I do think that the characters are very well done, particularly Wagner Moura's character. Definitely a movie that you should check out if you have the time. Jay Kelly. This was a movie that a lot of people either did not see, or if they did see it, they thought it was okay. Honestly, I actually really liked it. I thought George Clooney was really good. I thought Adam Sandler was really good. Laura Dern was really good. I thought there were some good conversations about, family relationships in this movie. There are some very interesting ways they film certain things like phone calls and such that I thought were really interesting. And I think I think this movie was actually really good. I thought this movie kind of caught me off guard. And the last honorable mention is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This movie is a movie that I wish I saw on the biggest screen possible, but I couldn't. But this movie is definitely something that needs to be seen. Not only the production value is great, but also the lead performances, particularly Jacob Elordi, who I didn't think of him as that much of an actor, but I thought he was actually really good in this movie and kind of stole the entire movie. But this movie is definitely one of the better adaptations of Frankenstein. So let's get into my actual 10 best pictures of 2025. This was honestly a very hard list to make. I kind of tried to get it to 10. There were some times where I was watching some movies and I'm like, I don't know if I want to put this here, but the more I thought of it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put this in this list. But let's just get into it. At number 10 is Weapons. Zach Cregger's horror movie about kids who go missing in the middle of the night is a movie that's both creepy, funny, and just all over the place in the best way possible, with fantastic performances from Julia Garner, Amy Madigan, Josh Brolin. Everyone in this movie I thought did a fantastic job, and it's just a lot of fun. This movie is definitely very dark at times, but I think it blends everything very well, and I think it's a very fascinating movie. At number 9 is Warfare. Imagine Saving Private Ryan's 30 minutes as an entire movie. That's basically Warfare for you. This movie is intense. It is a lot to deal with. This movie doesn't dumb down a lot of the things that happen. It doesn't say everything we're doing is great. And I do think that it just makes the characters human in these situations. I do think this is a movie that definitely needs to be experienced in the big screen just for the sound design alone. At number 8, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. This is a movie that I unfortunately did not get a chance to review, but Rose Byrne in this movie is incredible. I do like the unpredictable nature. I do like the design of the movie. I think Conan O'Brien is also really good in this movie. A$AP Rocky's actually pretty good in this movie too, but I think it's mainly Rose Byrne who carries this movie throughout. At number 7, Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out. Yeah, I've enjoyed all the Knives Out movies so far. I've not seen a Knives Out movie that I've hated, but this was the first one I watched and I thought, there's definitely some, maybe not resentment, but like trying to understand things. Whereas like I feel like with the first two Knives Out movies, Rian Johnson was going after various topics. Whereas this one, he was like, I kind of want to go for both, and I feel like it works very well. But on top of that, it is gorgeously shot. The lead performances are fantastic, particularly Josh O'Connor. Also Glenn Close, Josh Brolin again, Daniel Craig again. The only thing I will say is that some of the actors I feel like could have been used a little bit better, like, say, Andrew Scott, Kerry Washington, Kaylee Spaney. But I do think that this movie definitely kind of caught me off guard, and it's like, okay, where's this movie going? And I kind of just didn't know where it was going, and I'm glad that I didn't know where it was going, at least. And also, I was just glad that, unlike Frankenstein, this was a Netflix movie I got to see in a movie theater rather than just on Netflix. At number 6 is Friendship. A lot of people seem to hate this movie, but I had a good time with it. This movie is absolutely absurd. This movie is silly. Tim Robinson is unhinged in this movie, and I think it's just absolutely funny and strangely relatable in just the most chaotic way imaginable. At number 5, Sorry Baby. This was a movie that I also did not review, unfortunately, and I feel like I should have, but I also did not watch this movie until a few weeks ago. Sorry Baby is a very, very upsetting movie, but it's actually very well done. Ava Victor's debut feature film, where she directs, and not only directs, but she also stars in the lead role. I thought she was phenomenal in this movie. It's definitely one of those movies where I feel like it's important to watch, but just know going into it, there's a lot in it that is just very unsettling, but they don't show anything, at least. Also, John Carroll Lynch is also pretty good. Naomi Ackie as Ava Victor's friend, I thought she was really good. This movie is definitely very heartbreaking to watch, but definitely worth watching. At number 4, F1. There's always going to be one movie every year that is basically just a pure cinematic experience from beginning to end. Who cares about the script? Who cares about the characters? Who cares? Let's have fun. And F1 was that movie for me. F1 has some incredible sequences, particularly all the racing sequences are just phenomenally shot. But on top of that, I know what I just said about the acting, but, Brad Pitt's really good. Samson Koyo's really good. Kerry Condon's really good. Javier Bardem's really good. Also, Hans Zimmer's music, incredible. This was a movie that I saw in IMAX that needed to be seen in IMAX and is a total blast. If you did not see this in a movie theater, you missed out on a truly fun experience. At number 3 is Marty Supreme. Timothée Chalamet, how does he keep getting away with this? He keeps making movies that are actually really good. I thought he was phenomenal in this movie, and all the other actors too, like Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa A'zion, Kevin O'Leary. I thought he was really good in this movie too. Everyone in this movie is phenomenal, but it's mainly Timothée Chalamet's performance. He plays such an unlikable person in this movie, but he is so fascinating as a character that I'm just perplexed by everything he says and does. I do think that it's very chaotic. It's a lot of fun. It's very intense, surprisingly, for a movie like this. But I really enjoyed this movie, and I really want to see it again. At number 2 is One Battle After Another. Paul Thomas Anderson's nearly 3-hour epic where Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to find his daughter after she's been kidnapped, and he reunites with a bunch of his, former missionary friends. This movie blew me away in a lot of ways. This movie is one of those movies that needed to be seen on the biggest screen possible. Not only are all the performances really good, particularly Sean Penn, particularly Benicio del Toro, and Chase Infinity, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and Teyana Taylor. And you know what? I was a little critical of Regina Hall at first, but her performance, I still think is really good. Everyone in this movie just delivers, and for a movie that is about 2.5 to 3 hours, never does it feel like that. It blends all these genres perfectly. At times it's a comedy movie, at times it's a drama, at times it's a thriller, at times it's even a horror movie at times. I feel like it's a lot of fun. And also Johnny Greenwood's music, phenomenal. This is a movie that also really needed to be seen on the biggest screen possible, and I'm upset that I did not get a chance to do that. I was kind of busy around that time, and it kind of just came and went, and now that it is kind of playing in some IMAX screens, but I wish I could see it again in IMAX. But it doesn't change the fact that I still think it's one of the best movies of 2025. But the best movie of 2025 to me is Sinners. This movie is truly phenomenal, with Michael B. Jordan giving not one, but two great performances. Haley Steinfeld, Miles Catton, Delroy Lindo, all giving tremendous performances. Everyone in this movie just delivers. Ryan Coogler is delivering on all fronts. Jack O'Connell's pretty creepy in this movie. The music, the cinematography, everything about this movie is phenomenal. I've heard some people say, oh, it's just from Dusk Till Dawn again. It's like, I don't care. This movie is phenomenal. This movie is still great. I still have a blast watching this movie. It's a movie that I think entertains both the people who want to see a movie just for having fun, and this is also a movie that, you know, a lot of critics have said this is actually really good, and I think this is one of those movies that can actually please both people, and I'm actually really glad about that. This movie has a lot of layers to it that I think are just phenomenal. I can't wait to watch this movie again. So, it's also the movie from 2025 that I also saw the most. I think I've watched it 4 times now, so that has to put it really high up on my list, obviously, at number 1. So, what are your picks for some of the best movies of 2025? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and get ready for the not-so-fun list. The movies I hated. Alright, see you there.